Hey everybody, Mr. Bullock here, solving x squared plus bx plus c by factoring. This is an Algebra 1 lesson, so it should be pretty easy. Okay, to factor this, if there's no number in front of this x squared, then you just look for factors of this number that add to this number right here. So factors of c that add to b. All right, so here, let's do some examples. Okay, so factor the trinomial. And remember, I go fast, so you can pause it whenever you need to. My kids will probably pause it so they can copy down the notes. Okay, what factors of 6 add to 5? Hopefully you guys can recognize 2 times 3, so it becomes x plus 2, x plus 3. And notice they're both positive because factors of positive 6, either negative times a negative or positive times a positive, they have to add to this positive number, so it's a positive 2 times a positive 3. All right, here, factors of 6 that add to 7. Okay, 6 times 1, so x plus 6, x plus 1. All right, how about this? Factors of negative 6 that add to negative 5. Okay, it's not negative 2 times negative 3 because that would equal positive 6. All right, so it's going to be a negative 6 times a positive 1. Those add to negative 5. All right. All right, so factors of 6 that add to negative 5. Okay, I spilled the beans on that one on the last problem. So, okay. All right, so factors of negative 16 that add to 6. Okay, factors of negative 16 would be 8 times negative 2. All right, factors of negative 24 that add to negative 5. All right, 8 times 3 equals 24, so x minus 8, x plus 3. All right, solve. Okay, so now we're going to set them equal to 0. So we do the same thing as factor them, you guys. So on factors of 3 that add to 4, 3 times 1, and then the zero product property says this factor equals 0 or this factor equals 0. Whenever I have something times something equals 0, then this one equals 0 or this one equals 0. So set them equal to 0 individually. So subtract 3 and subtract 1, and I get z equals negative 3 or z equals negative 1. All right, let's do that again with this one. Let's factor this one. Factors of 28 that add to negative 16. I know you're thinking of 7 times 4, but that doesn't add to negative 16. 14 and 2 does. Since this is positive, it's either a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative, and that's negative, so it's going to be both negative. So y minus 14, y minus 2. Then set the factors equal to 0, and you get y equals 14 or y equals 2. All right. Okay, this one it has to be equal to 0 before you can do all that stuff. So what I got to do is I got to put this 7 over here, but I'm going to distribute this negative 6 through the parentheses first so I can then subtract 7. All right, so there's that. Now I'm going to subtract 7. I get negative 55. Now I can factor it because it equals 0. So factors of negative 55 are, the only ones I know are 11 and 5. So x minus 11, x plus 5. Set the factors equal to 0 and you get those. All right. Okay. You get 11 or negative 5. Okay, this one here, you guys, is a difference of squares. Remember difference of squares right up here? Oops, I didn't put that up here. Difference of squares is when you have x squared minus y squared, it always factors to x plus y, x minus y. Back in beginning in Algebra 1, I would have said FOIL these two guys out, and it would have got back to this. Factoring is the opposite of FOILing. So if you can recognize that this is x squared minus 6 squared, which is x plus y, x minus y, which is x plus 6, x minus 6, then you can set each of those factors equal to 0. All right, so you get x equals negative 6 or positive 6. Let's try another one of those. Y squared minus 121. As long as you know your perfect squares, that's y squared minus 11 squared. So you get plus or minus 11 as your final answer on that. Okay? Okay, this one here, this one doesn't work that way. This is called a perfect square trinomial, or you can just recognize that factors of 5 that add to negative 10 are negative 5 times negative 5. So it's x minus 5 squared. So your only answer is x equals 5 because there's only that one answer right there. All right, how about this one here, okay? What I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to subtract 16x from both sides, and I'm going to add 64 to both sides to make this side equal 0. Okay, so I get 0 equals x squared minus 16x plus 64, and then I'm going to do what's called the symmetric property and flip them around the equal sign. So x squared minus 16x plus 64 equals 0. All right, and then this factors this. Factors of 64 are negative 8 times negative 8, and those are the ticket that give me that middle term right there. So it's x minus 8 squared, so your answer is x equals 8. All right, you're going to see directions that say find the zeros by rewriting in intercept form. It's just the same thing we've been doing, you guys. So, but you'll see problems written like this. It's not going to equal 0. When it says find the zeros, then you just set them equal to 0 and factor them, you guys. So factors of negative 15 that add to negative 2 or negative 5 times 3 over here. Factors of negative 39 that add to 10 are positive 13 times a negative 3. And then we set the factors equal to 0. Over there I get 5 and negative 3, and then on the right I get negative 13 and 3. Okay, and if you're in my Algebra 2 class, boom, there would be your homework assignment. Take care.